Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Respawn Radio with your host, Paul.
And Raphi. That was a bad start.
Usually you face the microphone when you introduce yourself.
I know, because I didn't think you'll start that quickly. As soon as I click go, you're ready, and I'm like, shit, I needed that drink.
You know what? I quite like this introduction. Do you know why?
You're going to keep it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it because this is the happiest you're going to be throughout the entire podcast.
I am pretty miserable right now. It's really hot.
Do you want to
because somebody doesn't want to open the window.
I wasn't even talking about the heat.
It's probably about 28 degrees in this room.
Yeah.
Like, this is like brain melting levels of heat. And
that's UK heat measurement, not America.
yeah, degrees Celsius. I don't know what the fuck it is in Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Could be any number.
Probably way too hot. But no, we're talking about a... I don't know. Do you want to say dumpster fire of a movie?
I want to say, literally... the film that made Nintendo no longer want to do any more films ever.
Basically, yeah.
And that's kept that way since the 80s that this film came out. Was it the 80s?
No. So today we're going to be talking about Super Mario Bros. It came out in 1993. I remember because it was the year after I was born.
I was 2 years off.
Yeah. So, fuck me, where do we even begin?
Ooh, probably at the end and then leave it forever. Like, you know E.T.?
Yeah.
You know the video game E.T.?
Yes.
You know how they actually did turn out to bury all those games?
That urban legend where they took all the cartridges into the middle of a desert and buried them.
Yeah, that urban legend that turned out to be true. Somebody found the actual...
Oh my God.
Yeah, that
was it Indiana Jones?
I have no idea who it was.
It probably was.
Probably Steven Spielberg trying to hide.
Steven Spielberg, Indiana Jones, an angry video game nerd on an adventure.
Yeah, just to destroy this. Anyway, yeah, that's what we should do with this.
With Super Mario Bros. Well, it's basically it was a death knell in many of people's careers. I think it was so you had Bob Hoskins who played as Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you had Dennis Hopper who was the villain, King Koopa.
Yeah.
They both said in separate interviews that it was their biggest regret in movie history.
I think, along with Nintendo, said it was the biggest regret they've ever had in their professional career.
It's funny you mention that because Nintendo originally didn't really give a shit. Do you know how much I think they sold the rights to make this movie for about $2 million. That's it.
Jesus.
I know. But it's thanks to
It was the first one, though. It was the first video game film.
Yeah, ever.
And it kind of set the precedence for how bad... I mean, there's no good ones. Maybe apart from like one or two or like personal preference, you could say, that one's all right.
Yeah, I used to quite like Prince of Persia when it came out. But then I was a lot younger because it made by the same people that did Pirates of the Caribbean. So there's like a kind of level of quality to it.
But at the same time, it wasn't great.
No.
It wasn't as good as... I actually, for my dissertation, I wrote video games versus film versus comics versus TV shows.
Versus Batman versus Superman.
Pretty much. And I made the comparison that the original is always better than...
Oh, yeah.
So, Super Mario Brothers... I'm not even going to make a joke about how bad it was. It is beyond funny.
It is a mess.
It is an absolute... I was watching it and I thought to myself, all right, it's a shit film. I mean, I haven't seen it since probably the 90s, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it once, realised it was crap and thought I would never watch it again, and here we are. So, it's boring.
You reckon it's boring?
I would have thought it was bad because it is awful, but I was sat halfway through it and I was just like, it's not like The Room, which is so bad, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is so bad. Like, I wanted to punch the actual TV screen.
Really?
Yeah,
See, I didn't get like that. I was watching in awe. Like if you were to watch like a car crash just unfold in slow motion, I was just watching it and it was kind of like you're amazed but horrified at the same time. Because this movie is... You must have heard of Super Mario Bros. If you're listening, there's probably no reason you would watch it. Most people... It's probably one of the most famous video games on the planet. Think of how colourful it is, how sort of happy theme it is. Now picture the complete opposite of that. And that's what this movie is.
Yeah, so there's a load of reasons besides just being shit why it's shit. So you got Super Mario Bros. And it is colourful. It's set in a mushroom kingdom. There's actual mushrooms everywhere. Everything's green, everything's bright, everything's blue. With this film, it had none of that. It was... What would you describe it?
It was like a weird dystopian cyberpunk future.
Yeah, it reminded me more of like...
Blade Runner or something.
Blade Runner or Deus Ex or any one of those. And
yeah,
like everything was in name only. So there'd be... What were the What were the mushroom people called in Mario?
Oh, right. Okay, so the Goombas.
Yeah.
So they're like little sentient, angry-faced mushroom creatures.
Yeah, which Mario traditionally kills by jumping on their head.
Jumping on their heads. So this movie is basically reference, it's just references. There's nothing that you would look at and it's like directly connected, literally except from the characters Luigi and Mario that are named appropriately to their reference. Like
Almost appropriately.
Almost. Okay, so let me give you an example. Do you remember the big burly black woman from the club?
Yeah.
She was called Big Bertha.
Right.
Do you know what Big Bertha is in the original Mario?
No.
In Super Mario 3, there is a giant fish called Big Bertha. It's an enemy boss. It's just a giant fish. And it's like they took the name and they just slapped it on something in the movie.
Yeah, that's how they did all of it. I mean, so you've got Mario and you got Luigi. They're the only two characters that actually have like a reminiscence of their characters from the game halfway through when they change.
When they get their costumes, about 2/3 through it.
Yeah, so before that, it was just Bob Hoskins and
the guy who plays as Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
He's actually genuinely a funny actor.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I was never going to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, no, I had to listen to a couple of interviews because I was like, I could guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy who literally, I've only ever seen in Ice Age.
He has been in a few things. He is quite good. He was in...
he's in a lot of gangster flicks, isn't he?
He's in a lot of gangster flicks. He was in Romeo and Juliet, Baz Luhrmann's...
Oh, yeah, he was in the live action.
Yeah, he played...
live action, what we're talking about, in the modern day adaptation.
Yeah. He was really good in that. But no, so it's got him and Bob Hoskins, and before they get their suits, they could be any non-Italian.
Well, I mean, I guess they've gone the whole they're from Brooklyn, and it's like, I guess people associate the Brooklyn accent with some sort of derivative of American Italian. The first time that Mario ever got his voice, it was voiced by, and still to this day, voiced by Charles Martinet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he voiced Mario in a CD game for the PC called Mario Teaches Typing, and a few years later he went on to do like Mario 64 and basically every voiced version of Mario since then. So that whole it's me, a Mario, that sort of thing hadn't really been established yet.
Yeah, but was he Italian already?
The voice actor?
No, the character.
I don't know.
Or was he just some little fat Russian?
Okay, so this movie it's a good question because this movie set off a lot of sort of myths and rumors. They wanted to originally do a more authentic version of it, but it was deemed too expensive.
I can understand that, yeah.
So it's like they took the material and just got creative, like so fucking creative they couldn't have got further away from the source material. So what's the story of this? This movie is about parallel universes.
Well, the original premise of Mario is Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser, as it always has been.
That's right.
Peach, ironically, isn't in this. It's Daisy, and Daisy is a character who...
I've looked so much into this. Do you want me to explain why I think she was called Daisy and not Peach?
Go for it.
In the original Mario game, the princess in Japan was called Princess Peach. But for some reason, in the American English translation, she was called Princess Toadstool. So they weren't gonna call the princess Toadstool.
So they called her Daisy.
Yeah, because in 1989, a different game came out called Super Mario Land. Came out on the original Game Boy, and the princess in that was called Daisy. So I guess it's like the most human name they could get hold of.
Okay.
And then like a few years after the movie came out, they decided to canonize the English translation back to Peach as she was originally called in Japan. By that point, they'd already made this fucking abomination of a movie, and she was called Daisy.
Right, okay.
That's basically the gist of it. Anyway, so that's enough of pissing around with the details. Let's just talk about the plot, for fuck's sake.
Right, okay, so there isn't one. So what else do you want to talk about?
there is, kind of.
Okay, so it's set in Brooklyn and it's set on what we think is our universe, like Earth, just this Earth.
Yeah.
And it's all about evolution, which is a weird take because I don't think Mario's ever been about evolution.
No.
So it's established that Mario and everyone that he lives with is from how we evolved.
Yeah.
Unless you don't believe in evolution.
I can see you're getting confused on how to explain it because this movie is such a fucking mess.
Yeah, so it is awful. Okay, so I'm going to simplify it for myself. Mario's in his own universe, the Toad Kingdom. I forgot what
It's not even called the Toad Kingdom, is it? What is it called?
what is it actually called?
I think it's just called like the ultimate, like the other world.
They probably didn't name it.
65 million years ago, the meteor that killed the dinosaurs landed and caused a parallel world where the human race as we know it in this other dimension evolved from dinosaurs.
From reptiles and dinosaurs.
Rather than primates.
And somehow toadstools and mushrooms.
Exactly, yes. Yeah,
fungus, essentially. So you've got these two parallel universes going side by side, and somehow they managed to get the princess from this parallel universe into sort of our universe, and she actually hatches from an egg.
Yeah, because she's like the offspring of a dinosaur.
Yeah, which doesn't raise any questions for the people that... She goes to a nursery or something.
Like a nunnery, yeah. She gets dropped off.
Yeah, and
like Moses.
Yeah, essentially like Moses. And she hatches from an egg, and they're apparently fine with it. They don't tell anyone.
They don't say, demon baby.
Yeah, you drop off to the most religious people on the planet, and a baby hatches via egg. And anyway, so
she's I think it must have been her mother. She leaves her with a necklace that's got a chunk of the meteorite that caused this universe fracture with her. And that is the MacGuffin in this movie, isn't it?
That's the be-all and end-all of this entire film. It's basically what the plot revolves around. So she gets dropped off, and then we forget about her for literally an hour, because we jump straight to Mario and his brother Luigi, who are very American.
Yeah, they're very... They live in New York.
It's Bob Hoskins and John
Leguizamo.
Somehow, despite the fact that Mario is the main one, and he's the main one in the games, Luigi's the main character in this film.
Yeah, because he's got the love interest.
He's got the love interest, and it's kind of like, I don't know, Mario almost takes a back seat, because Luigi who does all the action. And
except from the very last fight with King Koopa.
No, he's there with it. It's just Mario just throws a...
Luigi chases after the lady, the crazy lady.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
So he's with her. So...
But each thing's equally important, because he's there sealing off the world for some reason, whatever it is, with the rock, with the MacGuffin of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And Mario's fighting Bowser, which I guess is as canon as you can get.
He ain't called Bowser. He is not called Bowser.
Yeah, he's not. What is he called?
He's called King Koopa. Do you know what?
Oh, no, he was called King Koopa anyway, wasn't he?
So basically, this is why I think they decided to harp on the dinosaur thing. What I think happened was they looked at Bowser, and he's like a dragon turtle. And they kind of think, he kind of looks like a dinosaur, and it all spun out of control from there.
I mean, that could pretty much sum up the entire film.
Yeah,
everything just spun out of control.
So Bowser is actually, he's called Bowser, King of the Koopa. Koopa is a species. Koopa are the little shelled tortoise creatures. So he's Bowser, King of the Koopa, but he's just called King Koopa. Like, he's called Koopa. Like, his name is the species name. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And it makes less sense that the enemies are called Goombas. Originally, they were going to be called Koopas, which would have made more sense because they're reptiles. You know, the villains.
Yeah. But, okay, so we need to talk about them.
Okay, let's get... All right, so we're all over the place with this one.
It was exactly like the film.
Let's go through the plot and get to the parallel world. So
right, okay, so they're failing plumbers. They don't have a lot of money. They don't get a lot of jobs in. And they just kind of lounge around all day just watching TV.
Well, Luigi does. He plays a lot of video games, and that comes into it.
Yeah, that does come into it. And they do make a lot of video game references. Nothing to anything in particular, just the fact that it is a video game.
Yeah, there's a couple of... Well, other than the original Koji Kondo Mario theme tune that played right at the very beginning of the movie, which for a fraction of a moment you think, this might be good. There's a few video game sound effects, like when they put on the thwomp boots and it goes blip, and they jump up in the air. There's a very...
Okay, so you
have to have a keen ear, but...
Okay, but nothing like...
No, nothing so prominent. They don't use a single tune from the games, like any other than like the one I mentioned. They don't do any remixes of the soundtrack they already have. Nothing. It's all just...
Weird, isn't it?
It is so...
I mean, you said that the budget would be too big. Maybe they just didn't have a budget. Maybe they had...
It's not that they didn't have a budget. They paid Nintendo $2 million to take the rights for the movie.
Yeah, but maybe that didn't cover soundtrack.
I don't know. Apparently that this fucking movie script was rewritten on a daily basis.
Don't surprise me.
And Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were basically drunk, from what I can find out, on literally every single day of shooting. There's so many interviews that I can find on YouTube of Bob Hoskins and everyone else sounding really happy in interviews, but obviously that was the promotional sort of time. But after that, years later, they came out and they just said, mate, this fucking film was shit. I hated it. I did all my own stunts. I got so fucking injured.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare, I imagine.
Yeah, it's probably one of those, I mean, like I said, it's the career killer.
Well, luckily they didn't let it kill their career.
Yeah, I mean, it did for Dennis Cooper.
Dennis Cooper.
See what I did there? See what I did?
Oh
Dennis
my
Hopper.
God.
It pretty much killed his... what did he do after that? He didn't really do much.
No, I was looking it up. So he's dead already, and I don't think he did much after this film. And
he was...
Bob Hoskins is dead as well, isn't he? He died in like 2014.
Yeah, he died relatively recently. I mean, obviously, he was in quite a few things. Hook.
He was in Hook. He was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I haven't seen and I want to because it's supposed to be really good.
Like I said, John
Leguizamo went on to do like 5 Ice Age movies.
Yeah, he's doing well for himself. So, like, it killed some people's careers.
Like the woman who plays as Daisy, what has she ever been in?
I think that was like the only film she's ever done in the history of doing
I actually Googled her IMDb because I was genuinely thinking, I wonder if she resorted to porn. You know, you never know if someone's career goes down the pan and you think, did they get desperate?
At one point, she was an up-and-coming actress who had the whole world at her feet, and the next minute, she's taken up the arse.
She got the script from Mara and she went, this is where it all goes up from here.
She's like, okay, this is my break. And then literally the next day after filming, shit.
What have I done?
I need to spread my legs now. Right, so established that Mario and Luigi, they're doing crap. They're apparently not great plumbers. They're not getting a lot of work in. You know, they're living life basically paycheck to paycheck. And the princess, who's
she's not a princess yet. She's like an archaeologist.
Call her Peach then. Peach.
No, Daisy.
Oh yeah, Daisy.
See, it's like, people are so unmemorable in this piece of shit.
It actually is. You know what? The reason why I'm stalling so much is because I cannot remember.
Okay.
How they get to.
Okay. Do you want me to? I can remember because I actually watched the rest of it like at 2 a.m. because I was like, oh god, cram this piece of shit in before we record this show.
That's what I was doing yesterday. I was watching it and I was like, I could be playing Monster Hunter right now.
But instead I'm watching this fucking shitty cocky movie. No, so basically she's an archaeologist and she finds some weird new skeleton of a dinosaur that's obviously like prehistoric her species, so it's sort of like human-y dinosaur-y sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's fuck knows why they're in it, but there's like this rival plumbers company who want to do some plumbing work on this archaeology site, and she's kicking up a fuss, so they try to like sabotage her dinosaur digging site.
Yeah, but she's a teacher, isn't she? She's got a lot of kids there, but she says...
Does she? Is she a teacher?
I think it doesn't say she's a teacher, but she has kids there. And she said we're allowed to be here when school's found everything they need to find.
Which is the worst teacher ever, because she just up and walks off, and that's how she meets Luigi, because she's trying to use the telephone.
Yeah, so she walks off because she wanted to get school's permission, or she wanted to get school on the line to basically say you can't do anything.
Yeah. These guys.
She meets Luigi, then there's basically a blank in the head. And then they fall through a wall.
Well, I don't know why you blanked at that bit, because it was one of the most awkward fucking scenes in the film, where Luigi is like the most romantically inept retard ever, and Mario, a big, sweaty 50-year-old balding guy, has to step in and do the romance bit for him. And for some reason, she like falls for him immediately. She's a really pretty girl, and she likes this dude who looks like he could steal your wallet and stab you in an alleyway.
Yeah, but John Iguana's basically quite funny.
John Leguizamo's.
Yeah,
John Leguizamo.
Okay, John.
I mean, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right at this point, but
okay. So apparently they flirt together, and one thing happens, and Mario defeats Bowser.
You missed a lot out there. Do you want me to right? So, Christ Almighty, the henchman, Koopa's henchman. So, Bowser's got these 2 henchmen called Spike and Iggy. Okay, do you remember which one's which?
I'm going to assume Spike's the one with the spiky hair.
Nope. Iggy's the one with the cornrows, and Spike is the one who looks like a paedophile.
Yeah. Oh, is Spike... Is he not Rob Schneider? Because he looks like Rob Schneider.
He looks nothing like Rob Schneider.
I'm going to bring him up now.
Oh, look, I've got a picture of him now. I'll show you, so you don't have to.
Okay.
He's not Rob Schneider, trust me.
I was watching the whole film, like, is that Rob Schneider? Because he's got that weird hairstyle.
He's got a different shaped head. Richard
No,
Edson.
no, not him. The other one.
Him, Fisher. Iggy. So he's the one with cornrows. Fisher Stevens is the one with cornrows.
Okay, so he looks like Rob Schneider. Obviously not right now because he looks really old there.
Yeah, he's way older now. Obviously, they all are.
Um,
So basically, they in the film they're King Koopa's cousins.
yeah.
He cares for them in a way because when they fuck up, rather than killing them or de-evolving them, he evolves them to make them smarter so they can do their job better.
But they don't.
But they don't.
No.
In fact, what they do is they get so intelligent, they catch onto his bullshit and turn against him.
Yeah, which is always great. But even before that, it still seems to be pretty idiots. I mean, they're trying to drive a car after they've had this evolution thing happen to their brain.
And they crash it.
Yeah, they crashed the car, and I'm just like, aren't you meant to be...
You know why I think they evolved them? Because Mario and Luigi up to that point had no fucking clue what was going on, so they needed some excuse for exposition. So they made him intelligent so that when they were stuck in a sinkhole, they would just run their fucking mouths and let the main characters know what the hell's going on. So,
And they fully did, yeah. It was weird. I mean, that pretty much sums up the whole film now. Is like none of it is well written and it's weird.
but okay, so do you want to know I'll tell you quickly. This may baffle you maybe as much as all the other choices for these characters' names. So Iggy is probably one of the closer relevant names given to a person who's related to King Koopa. Mm-hmm. So Iggy in the video games is one of 7 Bowser's children. Okay, so that's fine. I guess it's close enough, right?
So is he Baby Bowser?
He's one of the baby Bowsers. There's 7 of them. And, and Iggy's one of them. So he's called Iggy Koopa.
Okay.
But he's not in this, he's just Iggy. Spike, however, is just a generic enemy that throws spiky balls at you. He is a Koopa kind of offshot creature, but he's not anything important. There's millions of spikes. So they had 6 other Koopa children to choose names from, and they didn't.
I mean, were they in existence before?
Yeah, they were. They came out in like Mario 3 or something, which came out in like 1980 something towards the end. But obviously before this movie came out, which was early 90s.
All right.
Basically, they kidnap Daisy and sort of take her to the parallel world. And they go through this weird sort of, I guess it's like a fracture in the universes. They never really explain what it is, but it's inside the cave near where the meteor would be on their side of the world.
Yeah.
And there was the trippiest fucking shit I remember as a kid. They go through, they beat Doctor Strange to it. And it's like some weird psychedelic mushroomy place that looks like it's like a microscopic germs and just giant weird shapes. And Bob Hoskins, the poor fucker, floating around like he doesn't know what he's doing on a green screen. I don't even know how to describe it, mate. I'm at a loss for words.
I think that pretty much sums it up quite well, to be fair. It was in a film, I'm going to say a low budget because I assume it was, but they did have quite a lot of actors who probably demanded quite a high pay. Like, I can kind of let that go because now we've kind of been spoiled with CGI.
I loved it as a kid. I loved this movie because I never played... I was more of a Sega Mega Drive kind of kid.
Right.
I never played Mario, didn't have a Super Nintendo, I didn't have any expectations. I knew of Mario, and we watched this movie, and I liked it. I thought it was weird, and it was, like, dark, and considering whoever was making it were originally going for an R rating.
Really?
Apparently, yeah. When they were filming it, that's what they were going for. Because, like I said, the script was rewritten on a daily basis.
But their target audience would have been kids.
I know. Bob Hoskins only did it to impress his 6-year-old son. He'd never even heard of Mario before he did it.
Yeah, he did say that. All right, so they land in the world and they're doing this whole like walking through
the city.
Yeah, the city. They never name the city.
They're confused. They think they've time traveled because it's the same city, but it looks really weird.
Yeah, which I guess is a reasonable excuse to come up with because they jump through a portal. You think okay, and it's got a load of like cobwebs everywhere, and they call them fungus, and they don't look like fungus.
No, it
looks like someone had a weird wank and just splooshed it all over the place.
Orange splooge just everywhere.
Literally, and they're like, that's fungus. And it turns out that it's actually part of the king who's been turned into a big, massive fungus.
Exactly. Here's my big question. Okay, so the king, I guess with the de-evolution ray that they used to de-evolve the citizens back into a weird sort of simplistic reptile sort of form.
Yeah.
He used the same ray on the Mushroom King to de-evolve him to what his prehistoric lineage would have been, which was fungus, I guess.
Yeah.
And this fungus just spreads all over the city. It doesn't make any sense. If he's Daisy's father, why was she born in an egg?
Yeah, unless his wife is
a dinosaur person.
Yeah, because she would lay an egg, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want a true plot hole, Why didn't they destroy the meteorite rock? The one that she's carrying around her neck. All they needed was for Bowser to never get that. They had no use for it apart from to go home.
I don't know. I guess it was like as strong as vibranium. You just can't destroy it.
There'd be a bit with Gimli trying to destroy it with his axe.
Well, I've gone into... Oh, God, you know what? Carry on.
They're walking around and they've got the necklace, and then Big Bertha steals it. And bearing in mind, they make no attempts to stop her.
Well, they don't know it's important yet.
I know, yeah, but Luigi wants it because he belonged to the princess.
Oh, does he? I couldn't even remember that.
Yeah, so he was like, that's not yours, that's the princess's. He didn't say it like that's the princess. He goes,
That's Daisy's.
That's Daisy's. Give it back. But she doesn't, and she gets away on her like moon boots.
The thwomp stompers.
Yeah, the stupid things. Bowser finds out that the plumbers have it. Bowser basically goes, right, calling all police. If you see plumbers, arrest them.
Yeah.
They get arrested, and Mario makes this big spick about, oh, you're going to arrest me for being a plumber? That's ridiculous. I have rights. For some reason, he thinks he has rights in this place.
Well, he doesn't know that he's... That's the thing. They're so confused. They're almost as confused as anyone else watching this movie.
I think they would... I don't mean the characters. I think the actors were confused.
I wouldn't put it past that, actually.
Yeah, so I reckon it wasn't a case of... It was because it was good acting being confused, because I'm sure they were, and they were pissed. So, basically, they get arrested, and it's here that we find out what Mario's last name is.
Yeah, oh God, do you want to go and explain it?
Bearing in mind, it is called the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Turns out that his name is Mario and Luigi Mario. That is just lazy writing. They could have come up with something.
I'm just saying, like, they put more thought in it than the original Japanese game developers.
Anyway, they escape from the prison. They basically, I think they throw something at him, or...
I can't remember, but basically it ends up with them on some weird police chase, and they get into some car that looks like it's straight out of Mad Max, and they drive into the desert through a tube. Now, I thought they were going for Mario goes through the tubes into the desert level. I thought, oh, this is cool. Maybe they'll go to a forest level, because I've really forgotten everything about this film. But no, their whole world is a desert, so there was nothing really clever about it. All they did was escape the city for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The city was more reminiscent of Midgar from Final Fantasy VII, if anything. It was like a dark, musky city in the middle of nowhere. King Koopa has this so he's like the ruler of his own world, the dystopian dinosaur cyberpunk land. So he's like the dictator ruler, and he has this dream of he needs to get this fragment of the meteorite back from Princess Daisy to make the meteor complete, and that would merge both dimensions, right?
Yeah.
And he somehow he would take over that world. I don't think he realizes how much of a military America has, and how small, like, his world is literally an entire desert except from one city.
Yeah, so he's not going to win.
He's in over his head.
America would absolutely fuck him up, let alone the rest of the world as well.
North Korea would probably love to get stuck in.
Oh God, yeah, they would have loved that.
Well, he'd probably be his best friend, one of the two. Kim Jong-un, King Koopa. I love it.
So it's established that I'm going to call him Bowser. I'm just going to call him Bowser. I don't give a shit he's not called Bowser.
Just call him Bowser.
Right, so
it.
Bowser essentially has this device. No idea how he made this device, but basically it regresses your evolution.
Yeah, de-evolution ray.
Or it can increase your evolution.
Yep.
So it can make you smarter. Which
is not how evolution works, but carry on.
Yeah. It makes the brain bigger, and therefore they become like geniuses. Anyway,
exactly,
he has this de-evolution ray, and you kind of sit in it. It's kind of like one of those, in America they have like those hair things that you put over your head, and it does like your perm for you or something. I don't know what it does.
Kind of is like that, isn't it? So it just sort of like engulfs your entire head.
Yeah. He has one of those, and any citizen he deems he doesn't like, he will de-evolutionize them.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, he de-evolves them.
Yeah, de-evolves was a better word than I said.
De-evolutionizes them.
Yep.
He does the most horrendous thing ever. Some horrifying thing. He deforms their entire physical body, their brain. He basically lobotomizes
them. So they turn them from what essentially are humans into these reptiles that are like 8 feet tall, like wider than a house, but have the smallest heads, like off-puttingly small heads, and all they do is grin.
Yeah, it's terrifying, really. It's kind of really not terrifying, but it's pretty horrible to look at.
But the Goombas were essentially small little mushrooms.
It makes no sense. The complete opposite. A little small thing that's got tiny feet and a massive head. So what do? Give him a massive body and a tiny head. Why?
I mean, you see what they did to Yoshi.
Oh my god.
So Yoshi is a green, jolly dinosaur with a big smile that has a nice, funny voice, and he's a great character. Yeah. They turned him into something from Jurassic Park.
He looks like a baby T-Rex.
He does, and it's weird.
He does the thing with the tongue once, though. Only once.
He eats someone.
He tries to eat her foot.
I think he eats all of it.
No, because she's right. At the end, she gets electrocuted and dies, doesn't she? She gets fossilized against the wall. It's Aunt Petunia from Harry Potter. That's
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same actress.
Well, at least her career was kind of salvaged, and she became one of the most
Fucking
featured.
some miracle.
Yeah.
They obviously looked at Super Mario and went, "That's the bitch we need to be Harry Potter's auntie."
Who do people hate? Yeah, that's good.
Wait, do they hate her or do they hate the character in the movie?
Everything, all of it. So they fucked up with the Goombas, fucked up Yoshi.
Oh, they fucked up Toad.
Oh god, yeah. So
Toad is in the game. He's called Toad, but the species is also called Toad. In this film, Toad's just a bloke.
is that like when you name someone Guy, like Guy Pearce?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, so you said like his name's Toad, but his species is also called Toad. Is that when we call someone like Guy?
It's like when your buddy's called Buddy.
Yeah. It's kind of a bit funny, really. So the creature Toad in the actual games, they're really small, and they are actually toadstools.
Yeah.
There's a theory that Princess Peach and all the toadstools actually invaded the kingdom and forced the mushrooms out, the Goombas out, and they're actually, and I think that's actually true. I think it's actually in the game text that they're this invading force that ostracized all of the Goombas, so they went to Bowser, and Bowser's just trying to reclaim his kingdom back.
That's the movie I would have want to see.
That's the actual game.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think that is in the game files.
So Princess Peach is basically the British when they first came to America.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're the British when they colonized everyone.
Fucking bastards.
So when he goes to steal Princess Peach and marry her, he actually has claim of the land. Because they all got ostracized, and then they got a fat plumber to essentially massacre half the Goombas by stomping on their heads. It's quite a horrific game.
There's other references. There's Thwomp boots, which Thwomp is a giant rock that comes down from the ceiling with an angry face on it, and they sort of gave that to a brand of boot, I guess, to give Mario the excuse to jump the way he does in a video game.
Yeah, which he never really uses at all.
The boots.
Yeah, Luigi does.
Yeah, Luigi uses... Well, then
he uses them to fly, not to jump. He flies forward for a good 10 seconds.
Is there a different set? I mean, they have capsules that they'll put in the boots, and maybe they have different settings.
Maybe, but I just know that Mario never really... Apart from to fire the what's it called out of it, Bowser at the end.
Was it the de-evolution gun?
Yeah. You know what's the worst thing? I've been trying throughout this entire episode to think how they actually got their suits, and I
can remember.
I can't. I genuinely... It's like I must have fallen asleep. I have no idea.
They get back into the city. There's literally a split second where they see loads of pipes and there's a cabinet, and they open it and they take the suits out, and that's it. And they put them on, and then they have that really weird scene in the lift with all the Goombas, and they make them start dancing.
That was weird, dancing Goombas.
They kind of go ahead and do their... This is where Mario and Luigi split, because Luigi goes off with Daisy to try and sort out the meteorite, and Mario goes off to save his girlfriend, who's in the room with all the other princesses, or not princesses, girls that have been kidnapped. There's a whole plot that loads of girls in Brooklyn are going missing, and I think it's because Cooper knows that there is a girl out there somewhere in Brooklyn who's got a fragment of the meteorite.
Somehow.
So he's just kidnapping all girls around the same age. Now, I think this is maybe me analysing it too much. Maybe I'm too smart for this movie. But you know how, in the Mario games, you go through each level, and every time you think you saved a princess, but, oh no, the princess is in another castle.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe those princesses. They're not the real ones, but he thinks...
But he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't. They absolutely serve no purpose to the plot.
Other than, I think, Mario shagging one of them.
The one that is his girlfriend.
Yeah, so there was no... Yeah, apart from her, there's no reason for them to be in it. And it could have been a case of he goes to rescue the princess and it's not her, and he does that a few times. But, I mean, this is the worst adaptation ever made, so they don't do that. And every good idea they could have had, they decide not to.
In that very same scene, there's a part where Mario is on top of... he's on a little bridge that's hanging from the ceiling.
Oh,
And
that
then
annoyed the fuck out of me, that bit.
he jumps down from there and he's on a table. And I was thinking, he's going to jump on the fucking Gooma's head.
I thought that, and he didn't. He just kicked him.
Yeah, I thought this is the bit where he jumps on the Gooma's head like he does literally in the first 5 seconds of the video game. And he doesn't.
Why was it that the fungus was like dripping saliva everywhere?
But I don't know, because it was meant to be sentient. So the the fungus. Fuck me.
That's one of the best scenes in this entire film.
Trust the fungus.
Trust the fungus. That was such.
The mushroom became a shield.
Yeah, like there's like Luigi runs off to help Princess Daisy like destroy the one ring to rule them all. And
yeah.
As he's running away, he just turns around and goes, Mario, trust the fungus. And he doesn't do anything with that. He jumps and like the fungus like saves him somehow. What actually?
Yeah, so the fungus is like basically sentient because it's like it's
all connected to the king.
Exactly. It's the king has like spread his whole body all over the city for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I guess he thinks it's trying to communicate with him because he tries to like drop a bomb in front of him a couple of times. Like, take this bomb, I'm giving it to you. Although only Luigi, being the dumb fuck that he is, would have come up with that logic.
Yeah.
Most people would have thought, oh, there's a bomb with feet trapped in some fungus. That's nice.
Yeah,
it looks like a toy. I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that. It's a bomb, and everyone seems to run away from it like crazy.
Yeah, it's like the legendary bomb. Everyone knows that they're like savage.
Yeah.
Just before the ending fight, though, there is a bit where, in a way, Cooper wins because the ginger lady manages to put the meteorite into the meteorite fragment in, and the worlds do merge.
And he goes into our world. And the worlds don't merge, it's just them four.
Yeah, just those two go, oh, actually, the buildings kind of warp a little bit.
A little bit, but nothing like, it's not like there's going to be like mass citizens.
Yeah.
And so he's there with one of the Goombas, and he just shoots the guy who we don't like and turns into a monkey.
Yeah, he shoots
ruins his entire family.
He shoots the lead.
Everyone laughs at the fact that this guy just...
That's what I thought. Right, so Dennis Cooper has gone over there. He shot the main guy from the rival plumbing company, and everyone cackles. And I'm thinking, that's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, he has got, like, friends and a wife and children and maybe grandchildren.
Now he's a little chimp.
Yeah, which they can't do anything with. I mean, imagine if that happened to, I don't know...
Anybody.
Anyone. Absolutely anyone.
It is fucking horrifying.
I get he was meant to be, like, the dick, but...
He wasn't in it enough for you to hate him.
No, and he was just a businessman who just wanted to do some plumbing over an abandoned site that just happened to have some bones in it.
What a bastard.
Yeah, what a dick.
He deserved to become a chimp and just have his entire family traumatized.
Yeah, so everyone laughs at him, which, you know, if that were actually real... I mean, I'm pretty sure the army would have instantly gone in there and would have declared war on Bowser. Anyway, so just as soon as they go in there for him to do that, they then... go back, but again,
it's very short-lived. Like I said before, I was confused why they needed Daisy as well as the Rock, but it turns out for some reason, I guess because she's like royalty, she is like the chosen one and can withstand the power of the meteor, because if you touch it, you get fossilized.
But Luigi also like touches.
Well, because he's holding it. How does she know that he can survive it by holding on to her?
This meteorite's the Infinity Stone, isn't it?
Basically, it is like the Power Stone. If you touch it, you're just to incinerate.
Yeah.
So he's holding on to her. He uses a plumbing tool to get the chunk back out, and then the worlds de-merge. Yeah. And then they have the last... Mario and Koopa have the last fight.
Yeah.
There's other things they throw in, like there's the bomb, the little bomb with feet.
Yeah, but that looks so shit. Oh my god!
It looked like someone grabbed it and painted it in an afternoon, didn't it?
Yeah, it was literally... It was basically, you know, those wind-up toy things that kind of walks. This one was tiny, the size of a golf ball.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was broken. Like the way it walked, it didn't walk correctly.
And it had a Reebok product placement on its feet. Did you... You see that?
I did not see that.
There was this one bit where you can see it walking from the bottom because it's like walking over some metal mesh with holes in it, and it's got Reebok on the bottom of its feet.
Do you reckon that's product placement?
Or 100%.
Or do you reckon that was left in there by accident?
Why in God's name would they put a Reebok logo on the bottom of a little bomb with feet's feet when they're not shoes, they're feet? It was obviously put there on purpose.
Don't know.
Unless it was a joke, but you have to get companies' permission to even mention.
I wouldn't think Reebok which are the antithesis to video gaming back in the 90s. Because the thing of people playing video games was that they didn't do exercise.
Yeah, but the whole movie was to destigmatize video games. So maybe they thought, okay, well, if it's going to make video games look cool, then we'll do it. You know, I don't fucking get it. They also have bullet bills in it. Do you know what a bullet bill is?
No.
It's the giant bullet with an angry face on it. That's actually the little capsule they put in the thwomp boots of bullet bills.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to. It looks like it was painted in an afternoon. You have to catch it very close.
There's loads of these things in it that don't make a massive. I mean, one of the clubs is called
Thwomp. It's called Thwomp.
Yeah,
it makes no sense because Thwomp is a brand of boot in the film. So why would the club be called?
It's like
Thwomp?
somebody calling a club Nike. What else I don't get is Bowser is he like a totalitarian government or like...
He's a malevolent ruler.
Because everyone's clapping at the end, like cheering that he's finally gotten rid of him, and I'm just like...
Yeah, it seemed that no one liked him.
Yeah, so I don't... Because there were posters everywhere like, vote Bowser.
Yeah, it was like North Korea.
Yeah.
But in post-apocalyptic New York. So it seems that actually no one liked him. Literally no one. But somehow they all put up with his bullshit.
Yeah, and he had an army of, like...
He's not...
Very stupid people.
Exactly, he had an army of stupid, submissive retards.
Which he only got by kidnapping people.
And... He's not physically intimidating. Like Mario and Luigi in one of the earlier scenes, like push him into a chair and like slip him into the de-evolution machine for like a couple of seconds.
Yeah. And
so he's pretty easy to sort of overpower.
When that happened, I thought something was actually going to happen to him.
Yeah.
But all it did was turn his eyes yellow.
It doesn't make any sense though, because I thought, right, what's going to happen at the movie is, because every now and then in the film after that point, he sort of glitched out and he looked like he was kind of mutating. And he mentioned earlier that he's a descendant of the T-Rex. And I thought, okay, he's Bowser, obviously. He's King Koopa. He's going to be the big boss at the end of the movie. But the fact that he got pushed into the machine earlier in the film makes no difference, because the reason he de-evolves at the end of the film is because they shoot him with a gun. Yeah,
they have this de-evolution gun.
Yeah.
Which they managed to have.
They steal it from his Goombas, I think.
Yeah, and they just turn him into... It wasn't really a T-Rex. It was more of a
giant crocodile thing.
Yeah, like a slug.
He was on screen as a T-Rex for about 3 seconds before just turning into green slime.
Yeah, so they never actually fight Bowser.
No.
They fight his human form for the most of it. But also, I was expecting him to get more stupid when he got de-evolved slightly. Which would
have been clever, wouldn't it?
Which never happened.
Like lost control or something.
Yeah, or just like started making really poor decisions, which inevitably would have led to the downfall of his... That would have been a better story, but it didn't make any... There was no reason for him to do that.
There was the fight at the end as well. Did you notice that in quite a bit of it, he was inside a giant metal bucket that had like dirt in it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that was supposed to be reminiscent of the Koopa Clown car at the end of Super Mario Bros. 3. You know, Bowser has that sort of airship thing that he flies around in. I thought it was kind of meant to be like that, because they were sort of shooting up at him, and it was kind of like video gamey, like he was the boss in his like armored tank thing. But it was basically just a piece of construction equipment hanging from a crane.
Yeah, it wasn't anything he actually had. There was so much they could have done with it, which they didn't. I mean, I still think the idea that they made Luigi the main character in the first Mario Brothers, and the only one for that matter.
Utter sacrilege. He didn't even have his mustache.
He didn't, did he? No.
Bob Hoskins, to be fair, rocked a pretty good Mario mustache.
He did. To be fair, if you were going to get an actor to play Mario, Bob Hoskins is actually a good shout. Casting for him was on point.
It's funny you mention that, because they were actually originally going to cast Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito from Twins as Mario. Those were actually options on the table. Imagine that. Imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in as fucking Luigi.
I am here to help you.
I am here to capture some ghosts. Actually, no, that Mario's Haunted Mansion didn't come out until way, way after this, did it?
Yeah, exactly. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger as Luigi in a haunted house.
I know, a ghost. Get to the chopper. It would have been brilliant.
So they fix everything, and the Mushroom King suddenly becomes human again, even though no one shot a evolution gun at him. You remember that bit?
Oh, yeah. He was de-evolved because...
He shot a ray at him.
Yeah, but...
Koopa shot a ray at him.
Yeah, not because fucking Bowser dies.
Yeah, Bowser dies, the worlds demerge, and instead of, they've befriended royalty, and Mario and Luigi are living in a shithole apartment in America. They can't pay their rent. They're not getting any work. So instead of staying in this place that they can live like kings.
But they do get mentioned on TV that two plumbers saved the world.
And they called them the Super Mario Brothers.
Oh my god, that's the name of the film.
That's the name of the movie.
Credits.
And then...
Ended on a cliffhanger.
It ended on...
Set up a sequel.
That is the funniest part of the film.
They thought they were going to get a second film.
They thought they were going to get a second one.